It's important that your goals are big enough to really inspire you, set you on fire even. And you need to be asking yourself, how does this make me feel? And if it doesn't make you feel full of life, energized, then you haven't got the right goal yet. I think it's about putting a value on your time. Abraham Lincoln says, a goal properly set is halfway achieved. Daniel Pink wrote a book called Drive, where he researched motivation. But for non-algorithmic tasks, the biggest motivation factor is progress. Feeling that you're closing in on something, developing, growing. All things consigned to that great skip in the sky, along with smallpox and coal mining. And sometimes that necessitates a sudden volte-face, when you actually need to be very sure of your strategy, confident in yourself, and have trust in your abilities. He took it upon himself, with time pressure, to actually make the whole recipe again, completely the same way, and just change that one element, rebake it. And indeed, it came out right the second time, what he'd expected, what he had prepared for. I don't know, have we got any admitting procrastinators in? Oh, to be honest, you're an honest bunch. I think everybody procrastinates at different stages. Do we have any procrastinators amongst you? Oh, I don't believe you. Steve Radcliffe, who wrote the very powerful book Leadership, Plain and Simple. He argues that we all have leadership muscles. It's just that some are stronger than others. You need to practice them, to tone them, and every single time you use them, you do tone them. It's also proven that you're demonstrably less efficient. But it's about doing the thing that's most valuable to you first thing. I have to tell you, multitasking doesn't exist. The neuroscience, when you have the functional MRI scan, shows that different parts of your brain are lighting up when you think you're actually multitasking. So actually what you're doing is you're flitting between tasks. It's quite a useful language, this profiling as well, because you can actually say to someone, for example, I'm going to go and work at home today because your D's off the Richter scale. He was actually a classic I. He wanted to have fun and he wanted everybody around him to be happy. In fact, my party trick is to be able to recognise the I's desk, because that tends to have the most stuff piled all over it, and their computer will have umpteen frames open as they've sort of jumped from thing to thing. Have you ever wondered why people who seem to have it all actually don't feel as successful as they really should? I think it's because they never actually define what success means to them. And it's different for everyone. And that comes at a huge energy cost, very tiring. You've got the must-dos, the meetings that you've actually got to be present at. But then in another colour, you put in the things that mustn't be forgotten that week. And that can give you a huge sense of control. By asking them to actually log their time for a week, they normally find huge time stealers without me even asking the first question. There's so many of them that there's only one order of stacking them in there that they will all fit. And that order is the rocks first, and then the pebbles, and then the sand, and then the water. And I see work lists a bit like that, because if you don't actually address the rocks, the really big projects, they won't happen, which is why it's so important to start with the frog. It's the filtering device in your brain that screens out what is non-essential to you. So our perception of reality isn't actual reality, just like we can see the stars better with a telescope, or dogs can hear whistles that we can't. It's the value that defines what gets through.